Hello, this is week 9, Children of Men. So, from the very first image on the screen, the theme of despair is apparent in the faces of those watching the news, and later crying as they place flowers at memorials for baby Diego. The first song to play in the opening scene is a very slow, sad piece, and the colors throughout the entire film are cold, muted, and gray. Streets are littered with garbage. Nothing seems new or clean, with the exception of Theo's cousin's place. And even the air is constantly thick and polluted, full of fog and whatnot. Dead animals and burning bodies draw the focus of the camera, and none of the characters even seem surprised. The main character, Theo, is quite obviously a raging alcoholic, which definitely adds to the mood of hopelessness and overwhelming despair. From the opening to the closing scene, violence is prominent, and chaos, gore, and screaming tend to dominate the film. Theo witnesses the individual deaths of nearly everyone he knows, and is constantly reminded of the death of his son, Dylan. Advertisements also add to the sense of despair. Propaganda shows images of fallen cities and tells people to turn in their neighbors and friends as illegal immigrants. Billboards and commercials for a drug that makes suicide easy, quietus, flash by. Refugees are in cages in camps or on the run, which seems to mirror darker moments in history, like Nazi Germany, for example. Of course, the most obvious indication of the theme of despair and of hopelessness is the infertility crisis. Humanity is dying out and nothing matters because, as Theo bluntly puts it, 100 years from now, there won't be one sad fuck to look at any of this. End quote. The character of Jasper is one of the brighter elements of the film. His personality is light and comedic, and he provides a sense of warmth and hope in this cold future. This is aided by the relaxing music he tends to listen to and the brighter colors surrounding him. For example, the forest he lives in and the inside of his house both show much warmer colors than most of the rest of the movie. When Theo takes Key and Miriam to his safe house, he is seen soaking his feet in warm water and eating hot soup. This sense of comfort is a rather clear contrast to the mood of the rest of the film. Jasper's outlook on life indicates that he believes everything happens for a reason, and that he still believes in some higher power and in the idea that things will work out. He's always laughing and smiling, even telling Theo the stork joke and lightening his mood. I thought that was a pretty funny joke, just saying. He still appreciates the little things, and his personality brings hope to the film. The morning after they leave Jasper's house, Theo wakes to the blinding sunlight over the abandoned school. This scene was interesting because of the conflicting messages. The abandoned school represents despair, and it is a reminder that there are no children in the world, and therefore no hope or innocence. The sunlight, however, makes the scene feel hopeful, and Theo makes a comment that they're going to be there at the beginning. Key's pregnancy is a huge symbol of hope throughout the rest of the film. The baby is also a symbol of redemption. There are frequent allusions to Jesus Christ in reference to the child, and the reactions people have to seeing her strengthen that symbolism. The old woman Marika brings them to is singing and laughing, clearly very inspired by the baby's existence. In the ruined building, in the midst of the fighting, people stop and stare when they hear the recognizable sound of a baby crying. Some stare in shock, and others are just so happy, breaking out in tears of joy as Key and Theo pass. The music matches the uplifting, hopeful mood of this scene. The fighting even stops briefly as people realize the importance of this tiny child. Humanity is given another chance with this new birth. Earlier in the film, religious groups question whether God is punishing humanity by taking away his most precious gift. Key and the baby, having been named Dylan in honor of the child that was lost, apparently board the ship named Tomorrow at the end of the film. This is likely a Shakespeare reference, and the concept of tomorrow represents the future that humanity now has, and therefore directly represents the theme of redemption.